Something has to give. We can't be living in a failing system and actively denying our population and our people the tools to deal with all of these failures. Hey everyone, it's Chrysantilus. So, I am fresh off of a road trip across the country. I just drove from Baltimore, Maryland to Los Angeles, California, and it was with my best friend. We had the loveliest time, but I just wanted to share some of my thoughts and feelings and just some things that I have overheard on the road, as well as my reflections on psychedelics. And quick aside, because I am on hiatus right now from filming new videos, I will be sharing some footage from my Santa Fe stop. So this is going to be some really psychedelic, beautiful images and video from Meow Wolf in Santa Fe, the OG Meow Wolf, as well as my Airbnb, which I will link in the comments, which was just completely mind-blowing and wonderful and literally like my dream home. So I hope y'all will enjoy that visualization. For me, this New Mexico Airbnb definitely got me reflecting on how I want to live life, really marinating in that, because this was a gorgeous, gorgeous property on beautiful land with just absolutely stunning life.
The following video is made for the purpose of education and harm reduction. We are not promoting the use, procurement, or possession of any plant medicine or substance. We encourage everyone to do further research and prioritize safety.
So I want to approach this video as optimistically as I can, but it is also going to come from a place of realism. And just the things that I was overhearing all over the country were extremely sobering to me. If you're not living under a rock, it kind of feels like a continued beginning of the end. And overhearing people all across the country, I could just hear folks struggling. A lot of it was within hearing folks talk about their various money situations, a lot of folks not knowing how they are going to pay rent, a lot of folks not having the funds to do what they want. And this was not just like one or two conversations I overheard, but literally echoes of conversations, several conversations I was hearing all over the country. And this is reflective of a greater system. And it took me to a place of reflecting on the system and how the system interacts with psychedelics. Something that came to my mind was this, that psychedelics can change the world, but in order for that to happen, the world must change for psychedelics. And as much as I have personally experienced growth and change and all that good stuff in sitting with psychedelics and sacred plant medicine, I know that my ability to do that and my access to that medicine is predicated on privilege. I want to see a greater amount of folks with access to this medicine, but in order for that to happen, decriminalization needs to take place, and not just in places that experience the most freedoms in our country. I think about places like Oregon and California and even Washington State. I feel like within all of my lifetime, right now is a critical moment for psychedelics to aid the masses, especially in conjunction with therapy, meditation practices, etc. Where I feel like I get stuck is in this hope and this want and this need. I even see it in my comment sections, people always trying to source the medicine. Where can they get this from? It's this dissonance between the fact that psychedelics really can change the world when in proper hands, but as a tool, I see it being barred from use, barred from access, banned. And there truly is no reason to schedule substances like psilocybin or LSD as Schedule 1 drugs. because we have seen and are aware of their accepted medical use as evidenced in scientific studies. To me, I'm just like, something has to give. You know, we can't be living in a failing system and actively denying our population and our people the tools to deal with all of these failures. Rent is going up. I literally paid $70 for gas yesterday. I've never even come close to paying that in my entire life. When I think about the system and institutions that spring from this system, I think about the houselessness in our country and how my hope is that we will look back on this as a generation and it will be one of our biggest disappointments and something that was just so unnecessary. Speaking as a young millennial, older Gen Z, I'm right on the cusp. I just think about the unneeded, unnecessary suffering that is caused by the system. It's like living in a trauma machine and not a country. The system is honestly a monster, and it feels like there is no good news as of the past few years. I know there is good news, don't get me wrong, but nothing in our headlines is reason for hope. And I just think about what could be stronger than the system, what could be stronger than oppression and these institutions. And to me, a very clear answer is love. A very clear answer is community. And as someone who's dealt with depression and anxiety, it is very alluring to just feel entirely out of luck in the face of all of this. There are countless people really suffering right now. And to me, I just want to reflect on my duty as a harm reduction psychedelic YouTube channel in the easing of suffering, because that's ultimately what I am here to do. I want to lead folks to a harm reduction path if they are ready to take it in the realms of plant medicine. And just something has got to give. In my personal life, I've been weighed down by various types of no's, whether that be in discrimination, professional opportunities, etc., etc. But plant medicine is one place where I have found my yes and where I feel like I can exist in an accepted way. And to say it opened a new world for me would be completely an understatement. It opened a new multiverse for me. It opened a new cosmos for me. The way I think before and after plant medicine and psychedelics is legitimately night and day. I have such a greater peace of mind now that I have this tool at my disposal. And my wish and my hope in everyone else's various life situations right now and sufferings is that just give the people the tools, man. Like we've seen in the NYU studies, the JHU studies, like all of these different places, we know how psychedelics can help a population that is denied these tools. It feels just objectively so wrong to me right now, especially with substances like alcohol being completely legal, caffeine, different psychoactive substances that people can turn to. But traveling across the country and hearing what everyone is collectively going through, tapping into that collective unconsciousness, I just wonder how much longer psychedelics will remain criminalized and remain illegal. I recognize myself as having an immense amount of privilege in being able to work with these plant medicines. And yeah, I just want everyone else to have that option to turn to magic mushrooms if they need to, LSD, even like 5-MeO-DMT and other psychedelics I've sat with have been immensely helpful. Psychedelics have absolutely turbo coastered me into an entire new world of thinking, communities of people, incredible happenings and art events, places to be, different ways to think, and open-mindedness. I imagine this power being given to folks all across the country and all over the world. And it gives me a greater sense of ease that if instead of picking up a bottle of red wine at the grocery store in 10 years, people are picking up their microdoses. We need something else to turn to right now. I can feel that so deeply within myself. And for me, yeah, I used to turn to alcohol. I used to turn to things that lowered how I was feeling and made me feel even worse ultimately, or worse the next day. And so if our population had access to sit with more psychedelics than just like cannabis, to sit with LSD, to sit with psilocybin mushrooms, I just think of the places we could be. I think about maybe the way that we would vote, the changes that would occur. And this is not to say that sitting with psychedelics would make anybody any more progressive. We actually know that that's not the case, but it definitely helps us shift our mindset and think differently. And in sitting with sacred medicines, I have been able to see a path for myself that has led me to overcome some of this inner darkness, some of this systemic residue. This channel is part of that, but also so is an inner knowing of mine that this system cannot be sustained. An empire cannot last forever. So what comes after where we are now is something I think we all should be putting so much thought and light and reflection towards, because I am holding out hope for a psychedelic future, a future of healing, accountability, mending, and ultimately loving. That is what is sustainable. That is what will last. And for me, I know that it helped me think more positively, and that has in turn led me to start this YouTube channel, which has become a wealth of knowledge and a resource for my own life and something to live for. And it's brought me to you. And I'm so grateful for that. Literally, to describe it as a life raft to me, a lifesaver. Psychedelics have completely changed my world around since sitting with them as a college-aged person. I want to extend hope in this video that I hold out for a better tomorrow and a more accepting tomorrow. A tomorrow where psychedelics and free therapy, if not affordable therapy, is a portal that everyone can access. Because right now, collectively, after the past couple of years, I think what is clear to me and many others is that we are due for a massive healing. And I want to hold out hope for that healing for the masses. I want to shift my view and my feelings from being a bit pessimistic on that matter to just being more optimistic, or I don't know. I just have to believe that something good is coming. And I hope in this video I can encourage y'all to hold out some of that hope with me, because ish is really hitting the fan right now. It feels like everything is kind of falling apart, but I know that when I've felt that way in my life, my plant teachers, psychedelics, and sacred plant medicine have been able to expand my tunnel vision and show me where to redirect my focus and where to redirect my energy, and have led me to hope. So I just wanted to make this video from my hiatus, because I am taking a break from weekly posting as I am on this trip. I wanted to post this video as a message of hope. I want to extend my hope and love to all of you today, and thank you for joining me. Please remember to keep it trippy.